good morning, and happy Mother's Day. Whether you are a physical mother or not, I'm sure on some level we all have the mothering, nurturing quality, including whether you're a male or female. We all have that nurturing part of us. So rejoicing and celebrating Mother's Day with all. And I'm Reverend Divine. This is Reverend Liz, and we are the ministers here at Unity of Fort Collins. And we are so glad that you are joining us today, or whether you're listening to us at another time. We are an inclusive community. We welcome you wherever you are on your spiritual path, whether you've just started putting your toe in the water, discovering spiritual aspects of yourself, or whether this is a path you've been on winding for many, 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 many years. You are welcome here. We want to let you know that we like to embrace all spiritual teachings. So again, wherever you are and whatever you are about, you have wisdom to share with us as we have wisdom to share with you. So we are delighted to share that time together as community. So I just want to welcome you, give great thanks, and know that today, between the music, the message, and should you choose community time afterwards, if it's not cutting into your Mother's Day plan, that it inspire you in some way for the week. So thank you for being here. We are delighted and we are blessed. Thank you.
And now I have a few announcements to keep you in the loop of what's happening here at Unity of Fort Collins. First of all, today, as Reverend Divine mentioned, we do have community connection time via Zoom at 11 a.m. So would love to have your presence with us if you can come in for a part of that time just to see your face and have a little connection with you in that way. We have that every Sunday. We also have every Wednesday night, we have our Facebook meditation that is live at 6 p.m. And we also have on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. a Heart Talks via Zoom. You can find all of the links at the Unity of Fort Collins website under News and Events. Now, a couple things that are happening that are out of the ordinary are on May 15th, which is Saturday, from 9 to 2, we are having our follow-up, our part 2 on the outside cleanup here at Unity of Fort Collins. This will be led by Leanne Gable. So if you came last time or if you weren't able to and would like to join in, please join Leanne and those that are coming together on that Saturday from 9 to 2. You can come for an hour, 2 hours, or the whole time. And any details you need to know, again, just check out the website. Then we have on the 16th, the following day, our council meeting, which will be at 12 noon via Zoom. And you're all invited to listen to what is happening behind the scenes here at Unity. You're welcome to join us on that opportunity on that Sunday at noon following Community Connection. And last but certainly not least, we are starting a new class. Reverend Divine and I are going to co-teach a class. It's a 7-week class. It'll be on Tuesdays, beginning May 18th and going to June 29th. It'll be from 6 to 8 p.m. And what is the name of the class and what is it based on? It's called The Eye of the Storm. The Eye of the Storm. And it's based on the book by The Eye of the Storm by Reverend Dr. Gary Simmons, who is a Unity teacher and an extraordinary man who has a lot of wisdom to share. And it's all about embracing conflict. Who likes to embrace conflict? However, there is gold to found in conflict once we have the skills and a different, perhaps, perception of how to approach and engage in, I call it carefrontation instead of confrontation. But this is a book that will help us all to do practical exercises every week so that we can engage in that way of being, because there's conflict always happening, whether it's in ourselves or in situations or with other people. So I invite you to join us for this 7-week journey into the eye of the storm. Cost is $140 for the entire 7 weeks. and you can make payments either on PayPal. You can make payments, you can pay in full, drop off a check, mail a check. We just need to have your details, like your email address for sure, so we can send you the Zoom link. So that's it for the announcements. And now we're going to turn to Reverend Divine as she centers us in prayer.
I have one thought, just one thought that just flew right in.
Oh, it's flying.
It's another flyby. We are going to be doing the second coat of paint in the sanctuary and foyer. And it's either going to be on the 15th or 16th. We're still putting that team together. My cause is leading that. If you feel called in any way to contribute to painting, we would be thrilled to have you. So if that is the case, you can call the office and let Julie know, and she'll pass that information on. So yeah, glad I had that flyby.
Okay, thanks, Reverend Divine.
And now let's take a moment to go inward and to breathe in all that is good and very good, and to exhale anything we need to release to be fully present to right here, right now. To know that absolutely everything that we are desiring is seeking us, and that as we listen with an open mind and an open heart to the message, that we are inspired, we are delighted, something about us is called in some way that touches us, touches our spirit, touches our soul. So I'm just knowing that everything that we need to have and be about, that we be present for that, that we be receptive to that, and to know that all is well exactly where we are, that we are whole, perfect, and complete right where we are in this very moment. So just knowing that that's the truth, we let go of anything again that we need to be present for this time, and allow ourselves to just float into all that wants to be known and revealed. Calling this time sacred, blessed, and good, I let that be exactly as it is. And if you'll anchor that with me by saying, and so it is. And now it's time for our unity blessing. And the words will be up on the screen. If you'll say that out loud with me, something about that, saying it out loud changes the energy and raises it up. So we'll read that together. Our unity centers us in light and peace, allowing us to recognize our God within and to radiate that love to the world.
It's now my extreme pleasure to introduce today's guest musician, who is new to you here at Unity of Fort Collins, but she's not new to me, as she was one of our regular guest musicians at the Center for Spiritual Living, Tahoe, Truckee. Her name is Kalyani, and she's a singer-songwriter who creates a healing space for listeners to understand the truth within self through song. Kalyana shares her medicinal music with a warm, heartfelt, approachable presence. Her unique songwriting style and passionate voice allows the listener to experience being immersed within the qualities of wholeness, love, light, peace, and joy. She has 9 diverse CDs, which have been inspired by the Aramaic Lord's Prayer, A Course in Miracles, The Way of Mastery, A Course of Love, along with others. Reverend Denise Shalmanik of Unity speaks of Kalyani and says, I have experienced Kalyani's music for several years now and have always enjoyed her presence, unique voice, and choice of musical songs. Recently, she joined us at Unity of Davis for a women's retreat up at Ananda Village in Nevada City. The weekend together was magical, and her music enhanced our experience perfectly. As a presenter and Unity minister, I can highly recommend Kalyani to provide a musical, quote, experience, not just perform her songs, but create an experience for spirit to move through her and into the group with her original music and beautiful energy. So we have the joy and the gift of Kalyani. Let us welcome her today. Thank you, Kalyani.
Good morning, Unity of Fort Collins. My name's Kalyani. Let us sing. Peace in my life is growing because I choose love. Love's always present, it's what I'm made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one tie that binds us can't be undone. I choose love. Peace in my family is growing because I choose love. Let love be present, it's what we're made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one loving family, sharing one son. I choose love. Peace for our planet is growing because I choose love. Let love be present, it's what we're made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one. One choice unites us, let this be the one. I choose love. We choose love. I choose love.
Good morning. I'm Denise Johnson with Unity Fort Collins. My family and I are members there, and I'm very happy to share the inspirational reading today. Divine love comforts me. When I scraped my knee as a child, someone was there to kiss it and soothe my pain. Likewise, anytime I stumble as an adult, I have an inner source of comfort and reassurance. The power of divine love within me shores my spiritual resolve and eases any sadness or sorrow. Divine love gives me strength to go on when I face an unwelcome change. If I'm facing any kind of loss, this power helps me take a new step forward. When a loved one is going through a difficult time, I call upon this comforting love that resides in my heart to guide my words and actions and give the comfort needed. Open to divine love, I view the world differently, bolstered by displays of compassion and kindness and strength within and around me.
This is called A Prayer to the Sweet and Simple. Now is time to release my mind. Now is time to find my joy in the sweet and simple present moment. In the sweet and simple, I find my joy. There's a quiet beauty in all
Thank you, Kalyani. Beautiful music to start our message today. Thank you so much. So happy Mother's Day, everyone. Happy Mother's Day. I would like to start with a few universal mom sayings. Now, how this is going to be is I'm going to read to you or speak to you a line, beginning phrase, and you get to fill in the rest. Now, of course, this would be a lot more fun if we were together in person. So I'm going to need you to participate by speaking really loudly so I can hear you through the ethers. So first of all, who do you think? That's right, you are. Who do you think you are? Look at me when I'm, that's right, talking to you. Don't roll your eyes at me. That's right. I'm going to give you to the count of 3. That's right. You got it. Don't put that thing in your mouth. You don't know where it's been, right? This one is classic. Wear clean underwear in case you get in an accident and have to go to the hospital. Oh, and how many of you heard this one? Don't cross your eyes like that. One day they'll freeze that way. Uh-huh. I hope it never happened to you. Here's a classic. Why? Because I said so. That's why. Oh, love this one. If such and such jumped off a cliff, would, that's right, you jump too? Oh, and listen to this one. Of course, we probably all heard this. If you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. That's right. Well, I could hear you, so you all participated and get an A for your participation. Now, it's interesting that we all have different mothers, but isn't it interesting that we all seem to know the majority of those sayings? So yes, universal mom sayings. There's more than that, but I just wanted to give you a little piece of it. So next piece of Mother's Day, how many of you know what year Mother's Day began? I'm not hearing any response. So this is going to be your quick history lesson. Mother's Day, actually the modern American holiday of Mother's Day, was first celebrated in 1908 when Anna Jarvis held a memorial for her mother in Grafton, West Virginia. Her campaign to make Mother's Day a recognized holiday in the United States started 3 years earlier in 1905. And that was the year that her beloved mom, Anne Reeves Jarvis, passed away. Anna's mission was to honor her own mother by continuing the work that her mother had started and to set aside a day to honor mothers. Anna's mother, Anne Jarvis, was a peace activist who cared for the wounded soldiers on both sides of the Civil War and created Mother's Day work clubs to address public health issues. Due to the campaign efforts of Anna Jarvis, several states officially recognized Mother's Day, and the first was in 1910 in West Virginia, her home state. So what year was it that we became a national holiday, Mother's Day? 4 years later, 1914, when Woodrow Wilson signed the proclamation creating Mother's Day, the second Sunday in May, as a national holiday to honor our mothers. So here's an interesting piece that you probably trivia that you didn't know, that although Jarvis was successful in founding Mother's Day, she soon became resentful of the commercialization, and she became angry that companies would actually profit from the holiday. By the early 1920s, Hallmark and other companies had started selling, that's right, Mother's Day cards. She became so embittered that what she saw as exploitation and misrepresentation of the holiday, she protested and tried to rescind Mother's Day. Who knew? The holiday she'd worked so hard for was supposed to be about sentiment, not profit. She organized boycotts, threatened lawsuits, and tried to stop the commercialization. She protested at a candy makers convention in Philadelphia in 1923, and she was actually arrested for disturbing the peace when she protested at the American War Mothers who were raising money by selling carnations, which is the official Mother's Day flower. Jarvis's holiday was adopted by other countries and is now celebrated around the world. In this tradition, everybody offers a gift or a remembrance towards their mothers, grandmothers, or any maternal figure on Mother's Day. The original intention, however, was to appreciate and honor your mother by writing a personal letter by hand. They didn't have computers then, so of course they did it by hand and expressing love and gratitude. So there you have it. There is your honoring and the history of Mother's Day. So what I believe, as Reverend Divine pointed out in our opening welcoming here today, is that we believe that there is a part of us that is that not just a mother, but it is that nurturing quality. Every one of us has within us both masculine energy and feminine energy. And that feminine energy is that which is nurturing, gives birth to. And I'll speak more of that. But there's a lot of people that actually aren't our birth mothers, but who step into that mothering role. Irma Bombeck wrote a salute to the non-mothers. So we want to salute and honor the physical birth mothers and those others. She writes, let's hear it out for non-mothers. There aren't any songs sung for them, and there aren't any real appropriate cards written for them. There aren't any days that really are set aside for them, but they exist. They are people who experience all the joy, the caring, and the pain of motherhood. They just aren't there at the delivery. Some non-mothers are disguised as teachers. Yeah, those blessed teachers who spend more time sometimes with the children than their mothers. Those people, those teachers contribute ambition, hope, and expertise, time, and a sense of self to the child. After all, isn't that what a mother is all about? Other non-mothers are older brothers and sisters of a child who share a bedroom, pizza, and their lives. They take them to the bathroom, to movies on Sundays, and hold them whenever they feel rejected and they feel have no one to cling to. Isn't that what a mother is all about? There's the father, non-mother, who pinch hits occasionally at getting meals, mopping up, or sitting through a pageant when the mother can't do so. He offers a backup system of support, sharing, and security. And, some fathers are actually full-time nurturing mother roles. Isn't that what mothers are all about? Some non-mothers have experience. They're called grandparents, whether their custody of a child is occasional or seasonal or full-time. They add to the child another dimension of another time, another set of values and appreciation for things. Isn't that what a mother's about? There are non-mothers who touch a child's life in a million ways, who at first glance don't seem to fit the role. Listen to these. An angry motorist who yells at a child to get his tricycle out of the street. A guidance counselor who tells the child to get off their behinds and get to work. A shop owner who chews out a child for lifting a piece of candy at any moment when he needed it and was pointed in the right direction by someone who took time to care for him. Isn't that what a mother is all about? So yes, there are many forms of mothering, and we want to honor that mothering instinct that we all have. We all have within us divine masculine and feminine, which I spoke of earlier. And there is a Bible verse that speaks of, in Genesis, And God created man, and I like to put the word humans, in its image. In the image of the divine, it created us, male and female. I don't believe that this passage refers to gender only. We know in our teaching at Unity of God as not a person or personality, but as the creative principle, which is the working together of the masculine, which is the conscious mind, the sending forth mind, with the feminine creative principle, which is subjective or receptive. Now, this principle can be seen in the analogy of when we have a seed thought, it starts in the mind. The seed thought that we are thinking needs to be planted into the heart, into the subjective. The conscious part of a seed is planted into the receptivity of the heart, of the subjective. And that is the conscious mind, the subconscious mind. Subjective mind is also called. And when this thought is accepted, full on accepted as a belief, then we give birth to it. That is what it means to, as Jesus said, it is done unto you as you believe. It's not, it's done unto you as you think, because we have a lot of thoughts. But when the thought lands in the heart and is believed, then it becomes conceived and received and achieved. It goes out into the world. So that's the quick metaphysical look at how that creative principle works, which is in every single one of us, because we say principle number 1 is spirit, the divine is all there is. Principle number 2 of unity, what spirit is, we are. So we have both masculine and feminine qualities. A few of the masculine qualities are that masculine part of me, the masculine part of you, and it doesn't have anything to do with gender. It's the part of us that is independent, that is active, intellectual, directive, rational, analytic, purpose-driven, single task-oriented, decisive, structured, linear. These are the masculine qualities of ourselves. The feminine qualities are passive, collaborative, emotional, compassionate, intuitive, relationship-oriented, nurturing, non-linear, open, flowing, multitasking, unified, and flexible, receptive. Now, what's really cool about understanding this is that we can see and identify when I'm in a masculine energy or when I'm in a feminine energy, and not have judgment that, for instance, somebody said to me one time, my beloved Sandy said to me, I'm just an airhead. And I said, no, honey, I think you're just being in your feminine, because she was in that floating space. Whereas sometimes I need to tell myself I need to be in my masculine because I need to get on a task. So to recognize and identify when you are in one or the other is just recognition. And there's no judgment. We're either in feminine or masculine energy. And so, or sometimes we need to know which one to call forth. So I'm going to focus today on the feminine aspect of the heart, of the feminine trait known as understanding, compassion, and empathy. Empathy. Empathy is defined as the action of, quote, understanding, being aware, being sensitive to another's experience and feelings, imagining what someone is feeling and experiencing without actually doing it oneself. Now, the question is empathy an important trait or skill to have? Absolutely. Empathy, I believe, is one of the most important traits for us to have harmonious, strong, healthy relationships. What does having empathy give us? It gives us understanding. Understanding. And understanding is the power that we are studying this month. The power of understanding that Charles Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, discovered as he studied the 12 disciples and realized that they each had a trait or power or ability that we all have inherent within us. The question is, are we conscious of our abilities, and are we using those abilities for our highest and greatest good? So that's why Reverend Divine and I decided we would study each month a different power or ability so that we can become more conscious of what that power ability is, and that we can utilize it in a way that benefits ourselves and the world. So this month, we are studying that power, that ability called understanding. In the book called Power Up Your Life, which is all about the 12 powers, they define this power of understanding as the ability to comprehend and interpret knowledge, make cognitive connections. Now, there's another dimension of understanding, and it's known as spiritual understanding. There's understanding and there's spiritual understanding. However, I'm going to stay with the general term of understanding today. And in the next 3 weeks, Reverend Divine and I will be sharing more about the aspect known as spiritual understanding. So for me, the general experience of understanding is to me more of the feminine within us, which takes the intellectual knowledge acquired by the masculine self and places in the heart of understanding. You can have knowledge, which is more head oriented, but to be able to take that knowledge and to bring it into the heart where there's an understanding on all levels, a complete understanding of the physical, the mental, the emotional, and spiritual aspects of a situation, of a person, of ourselves. So wouldn't you like to get more understanding or understand understanding even more? It's fun for me to learn about this and to also discover it along with you. So how can we utilize and gain more understanding with others, with ourselves, and with that higher power that is breathing us? Well, the answer, I believe, can be found in Stephen Covey's book, and it is entitled The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. This is the book. I actually did a study, and I was given a project to study habit number 5. And that is the top title of today's message. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Again, seek first to understand, then to be understood. Because in any effective, and that's the word, it's for effective people. To have effective interpersonal relationships, we must first seek to understand. The problem? Most people don't seek to understand. They fail this. And the thing is we're not taught listening skills in school. I know I wasn't. I took interpersonal communication class in college and realized I didn't have communication skills. That was a bit upsetting to me, to tell you the truth. So Stephen Covey says that most people do not listen with the intent to understand. They listen with the intent to reply. Anybody, right? They're either speaking or preparing to speak. They're filtering everything through their own paradigms, references, and preferences, reading their autobiography into other people's lives, constantly projecting our own home movies into and onto other people's behavior. They prescribe their own glasses for everyone whom they interact with. So, there's 4 levels, actually 5 levels of listening. Stephen Covey covers this, and if you really want to get into it, get the book. Yes. When another person speaks, we're usually listening at one of these 4 levels. We may be ignoring another person, not really listening at all. We may practice pretending. Yeah, right? Now, I've never done that, right? We may practice selective listening, hearing only certain parts of the conversation. Or we may even practice attentive listening, paying attention and focusing energy on the words that are being said. but very, very few of us ever practice the fifth level, the highest form of listening, empathetic listening. Now, I recommend that you might take some notes because your homework this week is going to be about listening and understanding and using empathetic listening. So you can see where you are, or perhaps where another is in using these levels. He says, when I use and say empathetic listening, I mean listening with intent, hugely important to understand. I mean seeking first to understand, to really understand. It's an entirely different paradigm. Empathetic listening gets inside another person's frame of reference. You look out through it. You see the world the way they see the world, and you understand their paradigm, and you understand how they feel. Empathetic listening involves much more than registering or reflecting or even understanding the words that are said. Communications experts say that only 10% of our communication is represented in the words that we say. Another 30% is by the sounds and 60% by our body language. Listen to this. In empathetic listening, you listen with your ears, but also more importantly, you listen with your eyes and with your heart. You listen for feeling, for meaning. You listen for behavior, and you use your left brain as well as your right brain. Empathetic listening is powerful because it gives you accurate data to work with. Instead of projecting your own autobiography and assuming thoughts, feelings, and motives, you're dealing with the reality inside another person's head and heart. You're listening to understand. You're focusing on receiving the deep communication from another soul. I love this idea of empathetic listening, and it's really put me to put more attention on it. So I'm going to give you a quick 4 steps of how to increase your understanding through empathetic listening. And I'm actually going to use seek first to understand, the letters at the beginning of each of those words. So the S for seek. The S for seek means the S is to set your intention. Set your intention and ask yourself, am I willing to listen to understand? So you must set your intention. I'm here to listen to understand. Then the F. So seek first. So first, the F in first, you need to forget yourself and you need to focus on the other person. So you want to set your intention. You want to forget yourself and focus on the other person totally because you seek to understand. The T, seek first to, the T in two, take time to listen. And there's 3 parts of your listening. You're listening with your mind to content. You're listening with your heart to the feelings. And you're listening with your soul to the message, to the meaning, and perhaps to the words that are not being spoken. Very powerful statement is what's not being said. And to touch that part of you that knows, that soul part. So you're taking the time to listen with your mind, your heart, and your soul. You're listening for the content, feeling, and the message and the meaning. And finally, you, for that, seek first to understand. Understand means to use understanding language. Use understanding language because if you're listening, you will use that understanding language to convey that you are sensing what they feel, that you're in their frame and you're taking that in. So that is your assignment this week, to set your intentions, to forget yourself, set your intention to listen, the intention to understand. Step out of the way, focus on the other person, try to get inside of their head, and to take the time to listen and to utilize that understanding language. That is how we're going to move into that understanding. I'm going to close with a piece by Irma Bombeck called When God Created Mothers. When the good Lord was creating mothers, he was into the 6th day of overtime when an angel appeared and said, "You're doing an awful lot of fiddling around on that one." And the Lord said, "Have you read the spec on this order? She has to be completely washable, but not plastic. Have 180 movable parts, all replaceable. Run on black coffee and leftovers. Have a lap that disappears when she stands up. A kiss that can cure anything from a broken leg to a disappointed love affair. And 6 pairs of hands." The angel shook her head and said, "6 pairs of hands? No way." The Lord said, "It's not the hands that are causing the problems. It's the 3 pairs of eyes that mothers have to have." "That's on the standard model?" asked the angel. The Lord nodded. "1 pair that sees through closed doors and asks, 'What are you doing in there?' when she already knows. And what about the eyes in the back of her head that sees things that she shouldn't be able to see, but she has to know? And of course, the ones in front that can look at a child who, when they goof up, and say, 'I understand and I love you,' without so much uttering a word." "Lord," said the angel gently, touching his sleeve, "go to bed. Tomorrow's another day." "I can't," said the Lord. "I'm so close now. Already I have one who heals herself when she's sick. She can feed a family of 6 on 1 pound of hamburger, and she can get a 9-year-old to take a shower." The angel circled the model of the mother very slowly. "It's too soft," she sighed. "But tough," said the Lord excitedly. "You cannot imagine what this mother can do or endure." "Can it think?" "Not only think, but it can reason and compromise," said the Creator. Finally, the angel bent over and ran a finger across the cheek. "There's a leak," she pronounced. "It's not a leak," said the Lord. "It's a tear." "What's it for?" "It's for joy, sadness, disappointment, pain, loneliness, and pride." "You're a genius," said the angel. The Lord looked somber. "I didn't put it there." That tear represents that heart, that which is beyond the mind. It is the heart of understanding that beats in all of our hearts. May we all remember that we are both masculine and feminine, and to remember that we are that understanding heart, and take the time to practice and enhance and utilize our empathetic listening skills, and listen to others with empathy, but also to listen to ourselves. Sometimes we don't listen and we dismiss our own feelings. There's a song that Kalyani will be singing, "What Is?" And I invite you to listen with an empathetic heart to the words of that song and take it to heart and practice more understanding. And so it is.
And now it's time for us to share in the prosperity blessing. The words will be up on the screen. And again, I invite you to say that out loud. I personally like to take whatever my offering is, whether it's in a tangible green love form or my treasures of talent that I share with the community. I hold it in my hand and put it to my heart to remind myself of the power and the potency of that contribution I'm making. And again, whether it shows up in green love as a check, cash, or PayPal, and or your sacred Seva time and treasures, we are blessed. It contributes tremendously to the well-being of this community of Fort Collins. And now, our prosperity blessing. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God.
I'm going to try and be outside. Hope you can hear me. This song is called What Is? What is the seed that wants to be grown? What is the seed that wants to be sown? What is the seed? What is the seed? What is the seed that wants to be sown by you? What is the seed that wants to grow? What is the life that wants to be lived? What is the life? What is the life? What is the life that wants to be expressed by me to reveal the wisdom I have to share? Reveal that I have a choice to feel inspiration, to witness the beauty all around. Discovery, here I am found, all that I am. All I am. In the past, I made myself small, hiding in the dark to survive. But in my light, I bring joy to the world, trusting in the light of creation. So what is the joy that longs to be experienced? What is the path joy will take? Where will a little joy take us? When I align with the earth as she sings, with peace in my heart, I am willing to be the one who came to live a life on earth. I'm not the only one who's giving birth to love, giving birth to life. When I align with the earth as she sings, with peace in my heart, I am willing to be the one who came to be a light on earth. I'm not the only one who's giving birth to love, giving birth to life. So what is the seed that wants to grow?
Please join me in the prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am that light. The love of God enfolds us. I am that love. The power of God protects us. I am that power. The presence of God watches over us. I am that presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Thank you so much for inviting me to be with you, Reverend Liz, and I hope this music has provided some inspiration for your service. I'm going to close today. Oh, first of all, I guess if you want to hear more music, you can go to circleupmusic.com, and you can contact me if you want to buy any music. I don't have that available yet. I do have 8 CDs, and I also have a link to a SoundCloud where you can hear a lot of music, and Bandcamp where I am offering some dance versions of my songs, and also on another page on Bandcamp I'm working on some Aramaic chants which are sung in Aramaic, and the Lord's Prayer, each line of the Lord's Prayer is a chant, and you can listen to those on Bandcamp. So I'd like to close today with a 10-year-old song that I wrote before leaving Hawaii and still relevant, and it's our Unity theme song here in Grass Valley. It's called Waking Up in Unity. Feeling is like an expanding. There's a shift towards the light that is landing, and in my heart I am standing, and I let it be. Holding my heart and forgiving, finding the gift in the giving. This is a time to be living, and may I live freely and let others be. And I don't want to go it all alone, and I don't have to do it all alone. Family is all I see.
Thank you, Blessed Kalyani. Thank you so much for bringing your heart, the divine feminine that you truly are, to our service today. It's been truly a delightful experience of Mother's Day, of exploring the power of understanding. And so I invite you all now, if you place your hands upon your understanding heart and perhaps close your eyes, and if you care to repeat these words or just listen with the heart. I am open and grateful for the understanding heart, for the practice of empathetic listening. I am ready to be more understanding and to use empathetic listening to myself, to others, and to the spirit within myself. I am so blessed to understand this power of understanding. It is good and very good. And together, if you'd like to close that with me, please join me in saying, and so it is. Thanks, everyone. Have a blessed day, an amazing week. We send you our love. Namaste.